4 topics: the history of NS, why NS is important, how can you prepare, and also sharing with you my journey. Yeah, the first few slides are probably, I think I'll skip it because you should have already seen from the video and also from your social studies lesson, alright, how NS was implemented. Okay, when it comes for time to do the NS, right, you can serve in either the Civil Defence Force, the Singapore Police Force, or also the Singapore Armed Forces. And in this picture down here, you can see personnel from all the 3 forces that are staying together. So, pretty basic, who are required to serve Singapore citizens and also second generation PRs. And like what he said earlier, if you pass your NAFA, you can actually get a reduced date. If not, you'll be serving only for 2 years. Okay, so right now, me together with the other speakers, we're known as Operationally Ready NS Men. Okay, before actually I come to this slide, okay, I'd like to actually hear from you guys on why do you think NS is important. I actually managed to get some gifts, right, and these are personal gifts that were given to me by my officers. So I just thought it'd be cool if I could pass this over to you guys. So anyone who shares an answer, you can actually get a gift. So, for example, okay, who wants to get this? This is a luggage tag holder that's made of a fire hose. Anyone?
So you can protect the country.
This is actually a fire bike, right? You can use it as a display. Thanks, answer. Anyone?
Anyone on that side?
Wrong one, answer. Great. Singapore, like any other country, is vulnerable to terrorist attacks, right? And if you guys watch Crime Watch, you know that within the community, daily we have things like robberies, loan sharks, and almost every day there's an accident in Singapore, right? Cases of fire outbreaks. Now, Singapore being a small country, the government actually doesn't have enough resources to spend on a regular defense force, right? So they also need to rely on the reservists and also the full-time national servicemen to defend the country. And as you can see from the statistics, the population of Singapore has been increasing for the past few years. And as of right now, the population actually sits at, the population sits at 5.7 million, right? So with an ever-increasing population, we need more people to be able to defend the country. Right, so like I said, the cases of fire outbreaks in Singapore, they happen almost regularly, right? But not all of them get reported in the news. Okay, in this statement over here that was released by SCDF, you can see that last year they received almost close to 500 calls per day, right? And right now the number has increased to almost close to 600 to 700 calls. So that means almost every day there's someone out there who has gone through an accident or someone who's faced a heart attack. So we need more people, right, which is you guys, the future NSF, to be able to cater to this situation. Now, coming to preparing for national service, right? Physically, you guys are able to do things like your push-ups, right? Sit-ups and planks. These are very basic standard exercises. Now, when it comes to preparing mental, not only this, right? You're able to visit things like army open houses, police roadshows, and fire stations, and just get a rough idea. And this is an example of a police roadshow. It took place 2 years ago, right? And back in 2011, when I was actually in Sec 3, me and my friend attended this army open house. Right. One of the questions that's posed to me, right, is basically, what can you gain out of national service? In addition to being stronger and more tougher, I feel that these are the type of qualities that you'll gain, right? Now, the first one, being competent. When you guys eventually go to NS, your officer will actually eventually give you things to do. So it's very important that you're able to understand what your job is and actually know what your work is so that you're able to do them well. The second quality is basically being honest, right? Not just in NS, but in life in general, right? You need to have this quality. One of the challenges that I faced in NS was when I made a mistake in my work, right? Initially I was scared to own up and tell my officer about it. I wanted to push the blame to someone else. But I told myself that I actually had to be honest, right, and come clean about it. And I got scolded, and eventually I just moved forward. Now, the third thing is being disciplined. That was the issue that I faced initially, right, and my NS as well. When I was given work to do, most of the time I just used my phone, right, I watched movies and played games. And as a result, I got scolded by officers, and many of my friends actually complained about me. Eventually, I told myself that it has to come to an end, all right, and I chose to be actually more disciplined. Being reliable and trustworthy, they come hand in hand, right? When an officer actually gives you things to do, he actually relies on you as he feels that you can be trusted. So it's very important not to actually break the trust. And lastly, all right, working as a team. When you go to NS, you'll be actually together with, people of different races, all right, and there's going to be no discrimination between all of y'all. You guys would actually have to succeed as a team and also suffer as a team, right? If one person makes a mistake, all of you guys will actually get it. So that's why it's the saying, one for all for one. Now, coming to just a brief history of the Civil Defence Force, right? Initially in Singapore, there wasn't any SCDF, so fires were fought by people like the police or even the convicts. It was only finally in 1888, right, that the Singapore Fire Brigade was established. And by 20 years later, all right, we had fire stations that are being built in Singapore, all right, the Central Fire Station, Cross Street, and Kallang. Now, as of right now, right, within the street, there's only one fire station that is still in existence. So, are you guys able to answer which one is it? You can actually get a cool gift from me. No. Who said Central? Right, so yeah, you're right. Now, police supervision still exists, right? And Central Fire Station is still an active fire station in Singapore. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this, but this is actually the Hotel River Collapse, which happened almost 32 years ago, right? Now this actually marks a key event in Singapore because it saw the combined efforts, right, from people from the army, the police, SCDF, all right, coming together as one to help out. Now, if you actually notice the person in the middle down here, he's actually wearing a Singapore Fire Service uniform. So this was the initial name for the civil defense, all right? He's actually one of the most well-known and feared officer in the civil defense, and I had a pleasure working with him during my time. So finally, the SCDF was actually formed in around the 1980s. Okay, so the role of the SCDF right now is to actually deal with things like firefighting, providing emergency services, and also deal with fire safety. All right. There's a reason why even in your school you see fire extinguishers everywhere, fire hose drill, and even there's a sprinkler system. All right. All of these are regulations that are set by the SCDF. So when you guys move on. Okay, you're able to visit fire stations, right, every Saturdays from 9 to 11 a.m. So this is just an example from Central Fire Station. You can bring along your family and friends. So when you guys actually eventually go to the SCDF, right, you have to deal with cases like this, people jumping down, and even in the next slide, you can actually see a classic example of a road traffic accident. Right, this happens almost daily. You can see the EMTs and the firefighters working hand in hand. So in the future, for those of you guys who go to civil defense, you might find yourself in this situation. Now, coming to the end of my presentation, right, my NS journey. You guys, like I said earlier, you received the letter. In the letter, they actually tell you where and all right, what time you got to report to. So for my case, all right, I actually had to report to the National Service Training Institute that was located at Jalan Bahar. Okay, I had to go through 5 weeks of basic rescue training. For the army, it will be basic military training, and for the police, is basic police training. So in the next slide, you actually can see the area of my camp. And eventually, you guys have to surrender your pink IC, okay, in return to actually get this card here. So this is actually known as 11B, all right, so this will be your identity card for the next 2 years of your NS. So how was my time as a recruit, all right? I had to stay in for 2 weeks, that means for 2 weeks I couldn't go home. My day would always start at 5, all right, for which you will have our water parade, our physical training, and then our breakfast. So you can see, right, this is how water parade would be. And the next slide, you can see how your usual PT would be, all right? Now, my daily training include things like marching drills, learning how to use the different rescue equipment, and first aid, right? And from 9 to 10, you would have our own free time to do whatever they want. And finally, at 10 o'clock, you'll be lights out, right? So, one of the best days of my NS actually came when I got the book out. I finally actually got to go home. And the next slide, this is actually me and my bunk buddies. Right. Now, I'd like you guys actually take a look at this picture, right? Because this actually was the bed that I'm taking, and if you actually notice, the bed is being kept in an organized manner, all right? Because if you go to a place like National Service, discipline and responsibility is actually a key thing. So it'll be good that if you guys are able to start making up your bed like from right now, right? Instead of relying on your parents or your mates. Because by the time you go to National Service, all right, this thing wouldn't be a problem for you guys.
For those of you who go to army, especially those of you who want to be officer or sergeants, right? So, this would be like probably like the worst thing you can do, to not have really the worst thing, because every morning after breakfast just be drunk. There's standby bed when you check your beds and everything. So for officers, I just remember one thing. I used to have this on my bed also, that one small piece center here, right? It caused everyone to actually build our bunks, right? The entire bedroom in the parade square. Yeah, I got nightmares from this
Yeah, so this was me doing my training. And finally, the day actually came when I POP'd, alright? That means I had my passing out parade. So, unfortunately for my case, I didn't actually get to be a firefighter because I got into a motorcycle accident. But I was posted back to Civil Defense Academy as a clerk, right? Now, as a clerk, I dealt with many things. I'd just like to share with you guys 2 things. Okay, the first thing that I dealt with was I had to deal with the disciplinary cases within the camp, right? Now, in life, no matter where you go, be it NS, be it your school, right? There are always going to be rules. And it's either you abide by the rules or you're going to break the rules, okay? And there's no such thing as bending around the rules or going around the rules. Many of the cases that I dealt with in NS were NSFs, right, coming late to your camp. Some of them brought cigarettes in, some of them even sleep in the camp, right? So, to me, I feel that national service is actually a transition to your working life, right? The things that they teach you, they are grooming you to actually prepare for working world. And nothing that I dealt with in national service was to deal with the drug test within the camp, right? In national service, once in a while, they actually test your urine to see if you're actually consuming any type of drug. And personally, I spotted quite a number of people to the police station because they were taking drugs, right? And the most recent case happened last year when this guy got tested positive for cannabis, right, also known as weed. At first, he lied to me saying that he took some medicine, but eventually he confessed saying that he took it overseas. So after bringing him to the police station, I handed him over to the CNB officers, and the next day when I checked, he got sentenced to 8 months in prison, right? So there's a reason why agencies like the Central Narcotics Bureau, they're constantly reminding you guys about drug abuse and drug prevention, because eventually you guys are going to be, young men and young adults, right? And you may or may not actually face someone who's being involved in these activities, right? Now, once you get involved in things like drugs, see, the authorities will not care if you're in a school or whether you're still a student, right? They're going to actually arrest you and they're just going to refer you to as a drug suspect, see? So even though I wasn't part of the CNB or the police force, these are some things that I actually dealt with, so I just thought I could share it with you guys. So some key moments of my NS, right, happened when, for example, I was selected to be part of the marching contingent for SCDF Day. So this thing was held in Singapore Expo. After 2 months of training, right, I finally marched out with the rest in front of ministers, right, officers, and even parents. It was actually a nervous moment for me. The second part was basically when I was selected to perform at the in my camp, and same thing like other camps, you have promotion ceremonies, right? Based on the conduct, they would actually upbrand you. So you're able to bring the parents and your family and friends, right, and have a small dinner. So I was selected to be the musical piece. It started off with just one performance in 2016, and ended up with me performing for all of the ceremonies during my time in NS. So this was in 2016, right? And my final performance actually came in October of 2017. Now this thing was kind of memorable for me because the guy you see on the right, he's actually the director of my camp, right? He's holding the rank of assistant commissioner, and he liked my performance so much that he actually came and took a photo with me after the whole thing, right? And the day finally came when I reached my operationally ready date, right? Also known as ORD. So this actually marks the end of your service from an NSF to an NS man. So this photo was taken at my last day, and eventually, right, in your last day, you'll actually get back your IC, and they'll give you a transcript, right? And in fact, one of the gifts I actually gave it over to your friends. So my ending message I would say is no matter where you're going, whether it's the SCDF or the police or the army, right? I just really hope that you guys are able to gain something useful out of it. Because for my case, I love my NS, all right, and I really learned a lot of things from NS that I'm able to apply in my life, all right. Like I said earlier, I'm actually studying in Singapore Polytechnic. I'm taking a course called Nautical Studies, and I actually applied for a scholarship under British Petroleum, right. And my NS experience has actually allowed me to get a scholarship, right. So that's one example of how the NS service has helped me. And before that, I'd also like to say all the best for your final examinations are coming up, and also for your life. So thank you.